I remember when I was in junior high and high school having to wake up really early so that I could catch the bus to school. And also, as I was sitting here thinking about this morning, I remember having to wake up really early in the morning sometimes when we were going to visit Grandma so that we could catch the train or get on the road before the traffic. And my parents, my mom and my dad, had two very different ways of waking me up in the morning. My mom would turn on the light in the hallway, and she would crack my bedroom door, and it would let in a little bit of the soft light into my bedroom. And she would gently tell me that I needed to get moving. And then she would follow that up by hollering up the stairs a few times if she didn't hear me. I think mothers have kind of a sixth sense about that. My dad, on the other hand, had a very different way of waking me up. He would open my door, reach his hand in, and flip on my light. What a shocking way to wake up in the morning, right? After finding comfort in the darkness and silence of the night, the light can be blinding and shocking. According to Paul, in what Tim just read for us from Ephesians, darkness and light are ways of living. Paul tells us that persons who are immoral, impure, or greedy, those persons won't inherit the kingdom of Christ and God. Paul tells us that we stumble into this way of life, into darkness, when things become gods, when we make idols for ourselves and worship things that are not the one true God. So this makes me wonder, what are some of the idols we create for ourselves? We might be doing it without even knowing it. What are the idols of our individual lives? And what are our idols as a community of faith? What is the darkness and silence in which we find comfort? As individuals, do we make coffee into a god? Money, exercise, success, and accomplishment? As a community of faith, do we make our history into a god? Our building, our programs, our accomplishments in the community? Do we find comfort in settling into the same old routines, inconvenienced by the people and situations around us that fight for our attention and our time? I think we tend to find comfort in the shadow of these gods, these idols that we create, that control our daily lives, that we work hard for, because as humans, we tend to find the tangible successes to be more fulfilling than the intangible God of all creation. We have to have coffee in the morning, right? Or tea if you're not a coffee person. We work and work and work for that next paycheck. We open our doors and hope and pray that our history and our programs will attract people. But are we aware of those we turn our collar to? We cannot see or touch God, and that makes us uncomfortable. It is easy to put faith in something that we can see and touch. It is easy to settle into our routines and forget about what is most important. We welcome the darkness, thinking we can hide from the difficult task of being children of light. We find it challenging to always speak to each other in love or with words of love. We find it challenging to always give thanks to the Lord, especially when things aren't going so well. And we find it challenging to submit to each other, especially when we are used to being in control of the different situations that make up our lives. We would rather sit in our comfortable darkness and silence than speak up for someone in need. We would rather not disturb the sound of silence. We would rather not disturb the sound of silence. And if we dare disturb it, we would prefer to keep our comfort by making jokes about the horrible things that happen in the world. We would rather talk about what other people in positions of power should do, instead of finding ways that we could do something to alleviate the pain and hurt and sorrow that fill the world. We prefer to observe the pain and hurt and sorrow from a distance, rather than immersing ourselves into the places where darkness is an inconvenience for us. We would rather remain comfortable in the shadows of the idols we've created for ourselves, instead of challenging ourselves to be children of light. We love the darkness and the silence that accompanies it. Light exposes us in ways we wish it wouldn't. Light reveals the truth about who we are. Light says, "Wake up, sleeper, get up from the dead, and Christ will shine on you." Jesus came into the world to meet us in our darkness. Jesus, the light, exposed humanity, the darkness, to the light, to himself, and he took on the darkness that we might become light. Hear this good news on this mini Easter as we anticipate the resurrection. Christ has shined on you. You were darkness. Now you are light. Not you were in darkness and now you are in light, but you were darkness and now you are light. Light came into the world to make us light. Light came into the world to overcome darkness.
The people walking in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in pitch-dark land, light has dawned.
The light came into the world, and people loved darkness more than the light, for their actions are evil. All who do wicked things hate the light and don't come to the light for fear that their actions will be exposed to the light.
The path of the wicked is like deep darkness. They don't know where they will stumble.
There's no darkness, no deep darkness, where evildoers can hide themselves.
Justice is far from us, and righteousness beyond our reach. We expect light, and there is darkness. We await a gleam of light, but walk about in gloom.
Honor the Lord your God before it's too late, before you stumble on the mountain paths in the evening shadows. Then you will hope for light, only to find darkness and gloom.
Jesus spoke to the people again, saying, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me won't walk in darkness, but will have the light of life."
I have come as a light into the world, so that everyone who believes in me won't live in darkness.
God brought them out of the darkness and deep gloom. He shattered their chains.
If I said, "The darkness will definitely hide me, the light will become night around me," even then the darkness isn't too dark for you. Nighttime would shine bright as day, because darkness is the same as light to you.
But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people who are God's own possession. You've become this people so that you may speak of the wonderful acts of the one who called out of the darkness into his amazing light.
Do not rejoice over me, my enemy, because when I fall, I will rise. If I sit in darkness, the Lord is my light.
The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness doesn't extinguish the light.
You are my lamp, Lord. The Lord illumines my darkness.
You are the one who lights my lamp. The Lord my God illumines my darkness.
Let us pray.